you by Bethel College School of Technology. Learn more at bethelcollege.edu/Ken. We have a trust issue in the workforce. We just do. The data does not lie. And so we're going to break that down. What's interesting is the largest demographic in the workforce with trust issues with their leaders are Gen Z. Gen Z leads the pack when it comes to not trusting their leadership. The data from WorkHuman, a software solutions company, was looking at the degrees of trust that employees place in their employers. And so if you look at the data, only 52% of Gen Z respondents said they placed trust in their company leaders. Now, we're not only going to focus on Gen Z here, okay? But it is important to point out that they're the youngest demographic in the workforce, and they lead the pack, if you will, as it relates to the generational trust issue. Okay. Now, they're brand new. They haven't had as much time in the workforce. And so that's a definite factor. And I think that leaders need to be aware of this, that when you have somebody new, when you think of a new employee, you think of a new relationship, you have to build trust. And so across the board, you've got a very different generation. All the generations are different. The way they view work are very different. And so here comes Gen Z. And so we need to be aware that it's not a Gen Z problem. It's a Gen Z reality. As they look at the workplace, and I think if you were to do this poll 5, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, the next generation comes in, I think you're going to see the same thing. So I don't think this is a Gen Z just doesn't trust anybody. No, I think they've been raised a very certain way, and they've had very unique interactions with the world at large. And so trust for Gen Z, just a quick point on this, and I want to move on to some other things. Trust to Gen Z, in my mind, is going to be established when you take on, leader, the role of a coach. I'm going to stick to that. I guess you could pick many different words to describe it, but to me, that's the purest word. If you want to gain the trust of Gen Z leaders, you better take on the role of coach, because that's what they're used to. They're used to parents showing them everything, instructing along the way, and they've had more hands-on parenting than any generation ever. So instead of getting irritated about it, why don't you get focused on it? Okay, I'm going to have to be more of a coach. And here's the silver lining. The degree that you need to coach Gen Z leaders is going to actually rub off on the other generations in your office. And I think the focused coaching style to lead Gen Z will make you a better, more complete leader within the organization. All right, so let's talk about trust across the board. Let's pivot all generations here, okay? Let's talk about this. Work-life balance in this study was the most important factor in building trust between employers and employees. Does that surprise anybody? Work-life balance, not communication, not delegation, none of that. And so I've prepared some things here. I did some research, and I began to dive in, Alex. You're going to be proud of me, buddy. I went and did some real homework. I started doing some research about trust in organizations. And so I've come up with some very specific ways that leaders need to understand that in communicating this work-life balance issue, it will create trust. Because I will tell you, when I saw this article, I was a little surprised that work-life balance was the number one issue in this study as it relates to creating trust. Now, before I walk into what you can do about it and how you begin to take work-life balance and make sure that it is present and that it is principled and that it is practical, okay, that you understand why it matters so much. Okay? So, work-life balance, number one factor. And it's because of this. To the degree that you allow your team to create some balance, you are creating value that they begin to say, oh, you value me as a person, you value me physically, you value me mentally, you value me emotionally, you value me as a whole person, and you want my life to be good. Oh my goodness. They begin to feel very valued and valuable. So understand, this is really, really important. Now let's get into the practical piece here. There is no such thing as true balance. So leaders, when you hear things like work-life balance, you also have to understand that what people really mean here. Don't just listen to me on this article and go, oh, there's no such thing as work-life balance. You're right. I would agree with you on that. But what we're talking about is the ability to take care of what they need to take care of. Giving people the ability to take care of what they need to take care of. That's what work-life balance is, right? If I got to take care of something on my family life, you got to go. Like if Alex goes, hey, I got something with my son today, and I really, really need to be there. He doesn't even have to tell us. We just go, take care of it. That's the idea. He's going to feel as though he can step away from work, watch this, and handle something over here in his personal life that he needs to handle. That's how I'm going to define work-life balance. All right, now, I want to walk through for leaders. This is about as practical as I can be. So now that I've defined what I believe work-life balance is, I'm going to say it again. Leaders, write this down. Work-life balance, you giving this to your team. And remember, it's the number one issue in building trust. And organizations are always limited by trust. Okay, I'm driving this point home because I think this is a massive, massive, massive issue in the workplace today. Okay. You have to understand this. They need the ability to take care of what they need to take care of. That's it. All right. I've driven that one home. Here we go. Why does it matter? Why is work-life balance so crucial in building trust? But I'll give you a couple things. Ready? Here we go. Number one, it shows empathy and care. It shows empathy. I understand what you're going through. Man, I'm sorry that you're going through that. I care about you. And so I want you to prioritize that personal issue, that whether it be health or relationship, I want you to prioritize it. And employees who believe that their leaders care about them are more likely, watch this, leaders, to reciprocate loyalty. I show loyalty to you, they'll show loyalty back. Number two, it reduces burnout. Burnout is a result of stress. And so when people are stressed out about stuff that they got to take care of, or they're stressed out with you hovering over them all the time, and they're stressed out all the time, and they don't feel like they have any kind of margin in their work-life rhythms, well, the stress goes up, productivity goes down. Next, this promotes transparency and open communication. The very idea that your team feels safe enough to go, hey, I got to take care of something in my personal life, man, that's huge. Because now that promotes this idea of I can raise my hand and say, I need to take care of something. I need some time off. I need some help. I need these resources. It's huge. Number four, it enhances their autonomy. Hey, you know what, Alex? I trust you to get your job done. Go take care of your son. You'll get the job done. So what happens? Two things. He walks away. Sorry, Alex, I'm using you as an example here. But you know what he does? He's walking to his car, and this is what happens. He goes, okay. He's already got stress because he's got to take care of something over here. But his work stress just goes. So we reduce stress. Now watch. And at the same time, we increase trust in him. Huge. Huge. And you know what? He feels like I have some control in my life, and that's what we all desire, some autonomy. Finally, all of this improves retention and engagement. The idea that your employees feel that you trust them to make decisions, to do whatever they got to do in the job or out of the office, it boosts engagement. They want to be there when they're there. They feel valued, and engagement is the secret sauce to productivity, and productivity is what leads to profitability. So, leaders, I make the case today. The data says it, not me, and I'm telling you how you can actually be practically pushing the idea of autonomy and their full health, wholeness, the whole person, health everywhere in every area of their life. That's crucial. Launch your tech career today at bethelcollege.edu/Ken.